Hi, this is Bethany of Bright Motivate. I'm going to do a podcast. It's going to be my best friend, my brother, and I, Daniel Yorkman. And we're just going to talk about issues that come up, questions that, we may or may not ask others, but that's in our heads. Let me introduce to you Daniel Yorkman. Hi,
Hello,
Daniel.
everybody. How are you?
All right, awesome. I just want to jump right in. Is it okay if I go ahead with the first question?
Yep. Yeah, but don't forget to remind me. I have to finish telling you about my Lord of the Rings story. But yes, go ahead.
Okay, perfect.
Because I'll forget. I'll forget.
Yes. All right, the first question. How often should you tell your significant other that you love them? For a lot of people, that's important. And it seems like it's more of the female persuasion that needs to hear it. What are your thoughts on that?
So the, so that's a question that I get asked a lot. Why don't I say it and things like that? So
Okay.
can I ask a question or answer a question with a question first?
Just this one time.
Okay. All right. So how often should you tell your significant other that you love them? What is the significance behind hearing it? And I guess then I can explain my answer better.
Well, a typical response would be affirmation or confirmation that the work that you put into this relationship is worth something to you, and just it makes a person feel all good inside. And it restores faith in a relationship actually sometimes. So that's something. Some people would have trouble believing that you love them if you don't verbalize it, but that goes into like the topic of love languages, and that could be something, a whole nother discussion.
Hmm. All right. So I run into that issue a lot because I'm not an emotional person, right?
Mhm.
And actually, my current wife explained it as I am a emotional. I believe she said.
A emotional.
Yes.
Okay.
I think she made up that term, but
I was going to
whatever.
say, is that in the dictionary?
No, it's like well,
Like asexual?
yeah, where it's neither here nor there. It's like
Hmm.
it's as the Bible would say, lukewarm.
Ah, okay. I got it. I got it.
Neither hot nor cold, right?
Right.
So, and the reason I say that is because so I don't say it a lot, right?
Okay.
I very rarely say it without being prompted to say it.
So on your own, in the time span of a day, how many times would you say it without being prompted?
In a day.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say in a week or a month.
Let's work our way out in a day. I'm
Zero.
assuming that's zero.
Zero.
Okay, let's skip to a month then. In a month,
Uh,
unprompted. Be honest.
Maybe
Unprompted.
once, twice.
Oh, okay. That's better than I thought. I thought it was going to be another zero.
Well, all right. So let me qualify that statement, right?
Okay.
So we had a stupid saying when we were growing up. Before we went to bed, we would always, my mother would say to us, and we would say to my mother, "Good night, love you much, see you in the morning."
Uh-huh.
So that's my version of the "I love you" that everyone else says, right? So
Okay.
I say that every once in a while because weird thing is, I used to say it as a way because she said she wanted to hear "I love you." So I was like, well, I don't say that. But if it's a nighttime ritual, I can get back into the ritual of saying "Good night, love you, much in the morning." It's what I grew up on. It's what I raised my first set of kids on. Like I can say that because it's a ritual that I'm familiar with.
Right.
But if the words "I love you" stated explicitly just like that is what a person wants to hear, then yeah, I would say it's zero in a month
Okay. So,
and a year if you want to
so
extend it out.
for you, is it like someone would assume it's an ego issue? Like you don't tell people you love them because of your ego, or is it that you don't feel that warm, fuzzy version of love?
I, I'm just not an emotional person, and so it's not that I don't feel. I'm not a warm and fuzzy kind of person, right? But it's not to say that whatever my version of that is, I don't necessarily feel. It's just something that I'm not used to saying.
Uh, okay.
However,
I can accept that, but let's back up. Let's go back to the comment. You are not an emotional person. Now we go way back, right?
right?
And maybe this isn't emotion. Maybe I'm thinking of excitement. Maybe that's not considered emotion. But on the court, if you were fake fouled, wrongly fouled, or fouled and it wasn't called, what do we call that? Because that looks emotional.
Well, see, I don't do a lot of flopping though. I'm either fouled or I'm not.
You just get excited.
I mean, like if someone didn't like if I didn't get a call, I would be upset. Like I'd voice my concern, but I wouldn't dwell on it. I'd be like,
No,
"Yo,
you would
ref, you
no,
missed one."
you are correct. You did voice your concern. You didn't dwell on.
You just move on. Game goes on.
But now let's take it back. That is very relatable to our talk about relationships, because you not saying I love you is almost a way of you saying let's move on. Life goes on. Come on.
Yeah, pretty much.
I
Pretty
like
much.
it.
Th-
So
You
has
know,
it been an issue for you in, let's say, your adult relationships, your current marriage, your previous marriage? Well, if you're not comfortable talking about your current marriage, that's understandable. You talk about what you're comfortable talking about, or your previous marriage. Has that been, like an ongoing issue?
yeah, absolutely. But here's the thing. Let me show you how odd it is for me to hear those words, right?
Uh,
So you remember my grandmother, right? My mom on
yeah,
20th and Atlantic, right?
yeah.
Outside of my daughter, Siani, she's probably the closest person to me personality wise, right? And we had a great relationship.
Hmm.
In my entire
Is she
life.
dating yet? Is she?
Oh, see? Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. That's another
Oh,
story.
we gotta talk about
Yeah.
how that's going with her being like you.
Yeah, yeah. 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 Oh yeah, that's a conversation too.
Okay.
But yeah, so my grandmother, like her and I had a great relationship in my entire life. I remember her saying I love you one time.
Hmm.
And it scared me. I'm like, Mom, what's wrong? You know what I mean? That was my first question. I was like, is everything all right?
Hmm.
And she was like, yeah. And she didn't say it again. She didn't take it personally because she knew that we were a lot alike. She wasn't a warm and fuzzy person. We had a good relationship. It
Wow.
was what it was. So and it didn't need to be stated because we knew that it was there. Like there was never a doubt. And
Okay.
she was one of the only people that really accepted that without a doubt aspect of our relationship, whereas other people on the, let's call it the romantic side, never really got that same piece of it. They could never understood, they could never understand why I didn't say it, and they almost took it personally, like I was
Exactly.
putting in an effort not to say it, and that's not the case.
Okay. Okay. So it's not necessarily that you don't have the emotion of love. It's that you don't express it often.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're not a
And
horrible person for that. But I could see where it would cause some insecurities in a relationship for someone whose love language, are words of affirmation, if they, don't hear that often. So how have you worked around that in scenarios? Like what's your out? Like how do you resolve that?